Alright, ladies and gentlemen, slines and dons, my hip-hop crimies and crimettes, we are back with another episode on the couch today, and you already know we back with Rory and Mal again, dog, and you know Jaguar's hitting some shit when dudes are now starting to be on their platforms bringing up Jaguar, because she's been doing this talk for years, like I've been screaming myself, like, she's been talking like this for many years, B, and I don't know what Mal's relation is with the Jigga Man side of things or whatnot, I don't know. But it's mighty strange, in my opinion, that now all of a sudden that she's bringing up her wild allegations, if you want to say. But I feel like they're doing this because this is now starting to spearhead the rollout of trying to downplay certain things. Because they've had plenty of opportunity to have this, but now that she got on this Piers Morgan network, a bigger platform that's not, you know, the Art of Dialogue or not, you know, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Now dudes is out here trying to... So things is happening. I think things are happening now if Jaguar's getting this platform and now people are trying to speak on the situation. So I want to hear what these dudes got to say. I want to see if they're going to downplay it or what. I don't know.
Speaking of something my mom would do, here's something my mom wouldn't do. Go on a tour and just create stories like Jaguar Wright. Listen, man.
It's a crazy segue to go from...
Because I'm just here today to just address... I get it. I know the times we're in. A lot of things are being revealed. A lot of nasty things, a lot of nasty people. And if anybody is guilty of any of these things that are being alleged, they should be held accountable to the highest degree. Let's start there. But at some point, we got to just stop opening up platforms and cameras and microphones for people to just spew things that just have not been anywhere near remotely true. Mm-hmm. That's my only problem with Jaguar right now. I get it. She's created this lane, and
so here's my thing. It's like people are quick to try to be like these nasty allegations don't be true, but then people be looking real because y'all said this about Diddy for quite some time, and now people is real silent. So like, don't go jumping on the whistleblower. And this is why I'm like, yo, there's got to be some nasty work going on the side because these dudes never spoke Jaguar right, never like did anything. So it's just really interesting to see that this is what we doing now, and it's not a tour, dog. Like. She did that one show. She ain't been on many platforms like that, I don't think. I see what's going on. I can see what's going on.
You know, the National Enquirer, we always talk about it. It sells. It's been selling since I was a kid.
Facts.
So we know that there's people that eat this type of shit up when they hear these type of salacious stories and outlandish, times. And my thing is, how does Jaguar Wright have... Where was Jaguar Wright when all this was going down?
That's
how
right.
Come she has all this information on all these...
She was at the party.
We do need the proof.
No, but she said she wasn't.
She said she was.
I did scream this.
At what point?
Nah, she was a sex worker, so she might have been...
She said, I've seen it firsthand account with my own eyes. And then she said, I also know women that are in the industry that also work hidden cameras and were filming things.
She also said she rescued 3 girls from Epstein Island. I'm like, yo, when did Jaguar Wright get a boat?
A strong swimmer.
Well, I can see that. I can see her being a very good swimmer.
So when I did watch this Jaguar Wright on Piers Morgan, and not to say Piers Morgan is anyone that we need to look up to or that he is the end-all be-all of news.
But it's a platform,
and I always thought news was full of shit regardless. But they would be talking about issues I didn't know much about and bring on analysts and authors and people way smarter than me. I wouldn't like really take their word for it, but I would also think this person clearly has studied this topic and understands it. Mm. They had to have vet them in some degree. Mm-hmm. But ever since this Diddy thing, the people that they are bringing on to discuss the hip-hop world makes me think they've never vetted anyone on any subject ever. No. Why is Jaguar Wright doing a one-on-one with Piers Morgan? Like, it was cool with her YouTube stuff when she was doing her conspiracies for the last 10 years. And to her credit, some of the shit she said was right. Mm-hmm. But to a lot of people, that was common knowledge when it came to the Puff shit. Mm-hmm. Why?
Okay, so it's Jay.
Piers Morgan talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce putting children in suitcases and throwing them in the air. What? Why is this allowed on Piers Morgan? And again, not to say Piers is that guy,
right?
Or has any like integrity.
So they already telling right now, like, yo, she's been doing this the last 10 years, but it's because they brought up a certain person. Which, if you just use your brain too, we're not saying they did any of that. Like, once again, I'm on record saying I'm not agreeing with the throwing the children and the suitcase and all that. But you're also emphasizing that part when I don't even think she even said that. Cause I just did the reaction. I don't think that was tied to that. I think that was just the parties in general. But she's more or less saying that Jay is tied with Diddy, and he's just being more. He's been more quiet and falling in the background every time that these dudes that he's been closely associated to are involved in certain things. He just somehow fades to black. He does the Homer Simpson and falls in the bushes. That's what she's really getting at. And to my point in the beginning of the video, let's see if they about to be on some funny shit. They're already lining it up like it's because it's about Jay. I don't know what the associations are with who Mal knows as far as the Jay side of things, because I just feel like he might know somebody on that side now. For them to do all this, nah. I'm not flying.
You know,
on
once
this.
they go on Piers, we're gonna get the truth.
Yeah.
But why? No one vetted this at all.
Know, man. I don't know.
What was their source? YouTube? Trust me, bro.
Yeah, I don't. I think. Well, we know how these things go when because when the Puff shit happened months ago with Cassie, we got some calls from some networks and people that wanted to interview us, and we said absolutely not. So now that obviously Puff is going to court, the charges have been presented. There's the floodgate of media outlets opening up to anybody that's willing to come on from our culture that have been maybe even at a show that Puff had.
So what happens when you get Gene Deal on it? You're going to say he bullshitting
their
too?
Platforms for people to come and talk. And like you said, Jaguar Wright has been one of the more vocal voices over the year as far as this type of stuff going on in the industry. And like you said, some of the things she speaks about has been proven and came to light as true.
I feel like if she was talking about
Yeah, this is definitely a campaign to silence this shit because she's getting that bigger platform now.
Let's go get this money, man. Ganemos dinero, no después, ahora.
anyone outside of hip hop, this network would have vetted this way more.
Of course.
Of course. They really were just like, trust me, bro.
Yeah.
And threw her on live TV.
They're looking at her like, oh, she has to know.
Like, listen, I love Heart of the City.
Yeah.
That's not a fact.
She's saying Jay-Z's Unplugged set on MTV. She has to know. She has to know what's going on.
I'm just saying she's been around.
I'm just like, it's a such thing as too far and too much. That's all. And again, if she's right about anything she's saying, and
this is my thing. You can't just jump to like. I would like the approach on being like, all right, like we just really don't know, versus trying to completely, because when you just completely try to just shut every single down and then try to like, because what they're doing right now is I'm pretty sure they're taking bits from what she said that was wild and sticking it to the things that could actually be true, and now you just construe it to being like, yo, she's wilding, you can't give people these platforms. Like, I watched it, she wasn't that absurd, she was saying some shit. But, like, once she's been pretty consistent with saying all this, like, why is it that now that she said Jay's name? Because if she would have kept it Puff, I don't think they would have, like, brought this up. But because we're bringing up Jay, which everybody's been asking about Jay for quite some time, so let's not act like this is a thing. But because she's here, I think that there's some, I'm going to keep saying it, man. I know I paused and said this again, but there's stuff going on, dog.
Then they should be held accountable to the highest degree.
They want to be quick to defend and say things ain't happening.
Any of these things,
but I feel like we should just wait a second. Wait a little bit.
And the stuff that she's saying, like, again, we've talked about this the last few months. Like, it is kind of unfortunate that the only time any of these outlets have invited people of hip hop culture on their network, it's to discuss Puff and like just nasty shit. Mm-hmm. Never anything else. That's why I do salute Cameron for going up there and be like, yo, I'm selling dick pills. What do you want from me?
Right.
They are going to take her word as a fact, especially in the world of conspiracy theories that we now all believe. And a lot of Pierce's audience is the far right. I think he does a good job of balancing both sides. I like his panels, but far right for the most part. And far right is the new conspiracy theorist, which has been such a weird shift. They went from being the government will always tell us the truth to everything's a conspiracy. They're going to assume that when Jaguar Wright gets up there and says, Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Cosby,
starts throwing the trigger names out there,
who's the only person they have in common? Jay-Z. They are now going to take that as, okay, Jay-Z traffics little children.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
I didn't take that way at all.
I assume while we're recording this now, Hove has sent a large group of Jewish lawyers to congregate, and Jaguar Wright may not be allowed outside of her house. It's not all right. So people, you can say that crazy shit.
They joke about that shit, but you know when they say that, Jag's been on the side because like this is clearly the smear Jag moment right now, and it's like it's nasty work on this side of town too, versus like just being a little objective and like being like, like what she's saying is wild, but we can't act like some of these things may or may not be true. I think Maul's been on that point, but Jag has been on record, you know what I mean, on saying, and this could be conspiracy or whatever too, but she's been on record saying that this is what they do. The exact thing that they're saying about the lawyers meeting up and congregating and all that. She's like, yo, they sent people to try to, do me in and all this other stuff. So they laughing and joking, but I'm like, hey, like this woman been on the, not the news platforms and shit, but have been on the YouTube, which, that's a lot of people's sources, but we don't take it as fact. You just have to be able to separate what's fact and what's not, and then also be like, there could be that possibility. You just have to leave that option there. You don't go believing and running with it, because that's not what we do here, but you just have to always just question it, just open your brain a little bit and just think about it. That's all. Don't agree, but think about it a little bit.
YouTube all you want, and I think Hove and people of that cloth will be like, whatever. Like, I'm gonna run down every fucking YouTube conspiracy.
Right.
He went on Piers. She went on Piers Morgan. Right. And suggested that he's trafficking children.
But I don't think she did that. I didn't get that out the interview, dog.
You don't see it? You can't see Jay doing it.
And listen, I give half a salute to Jaguar because she has been right about certain stuff, but
let's see what you did there.
She never has any real like evidence.
To Roy's point, I did scream that.
I got like one. Yeah, yo, I'll turn them in.
Yeah, trust me.
But you never turn them in.
No. I do be screaming that. I'm with them on that.
Well, sorry, real quick. She said she has footage from women that have been wearing wires and cameras. So if that's true, then there would be more evidence at play here. But who's to say?
I'm not saying that she doesn't have that. I'm not saying that she doesn't know women that have been harmed by Puff. I think there's a lot of people that know women that were harmed by Puff.
Focus on Jay right now.
But to just then throw in random names like, I did not know Jay and Bill Cosby were that close.
When she said that with Jay and Weinstein, I'm like, that's a stretch. That's stretch stuff. That's stretchy.
When Cosby was putting Quaaludes in women's drinks in the 70s, I didn't know Hove was there.
He wasn't. It's just that simple. Like,
now
Bill don't even like rappers.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, because a lot of those flight logs were bullshit with Jeffrey Epstein. I do remember seeing something along the lines of one plane that was owned by Jeffrey Epstein, Jay-Z and Beyonce flew on. Who the fuck knows? Cool, if you want to look into that, I would never be mad at someone going, well, hey, that's weird. We should figure out why. But to then just go, Jeffrey Epstein, Puff, Bill Cosby.
What do they all have in common? Jay-Z.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Laid it all out. So
I never even thought of it that way.
Yeah, that's your problem now. You ain't thinking about it.
And they're gonna kill us for being Hovengers, but
oh yeah, because like I'm definitely on your ass about that. I'll definitely be in Hovengers right now.
I think it's more so not a Jay thing. It's a hip hop thing, because the only way hip hop is being portrayed on these platforms now is this bullshit that we need to nip in the bud. Don't get me wrong. Puff needs to see his day in court, and if it's all facts, bury him under the jail. But that's now the only representation of what hip hop is now across these platforms.
Right.
Which is fucking nuts to me. And again, I don't know, who cares, because those people probably wouldn't look at it.
I'm gonna say they're not listening to it anyway. They're doing it to put the negative light on it anyway. I get that.
I mean, let me be very clear, because again, the whole Vengers thing.
I do get to Roy's point though. Like, these platforms are taking advantage of the juicy, gossipy story. I will go to Roy's point on that. But they're also being super Hovengers because they didn't speak on this shit the entire time, as far as like just Jaguar Wright, until she got the platform to say what she wanted to say. And like, I'm gonna go back to what I stand on too. I feel like there's stuff that we might not really know about or privy to, that like the media's privy to, and there's now a reason to give her a platform. Like, that's the part that I'm like shocked that they're not looking at the other side or thinking about, as salacious and crazy it could be. Why not look at that side? Like once again, they said at the beginning, she's been doing this shit for like 10 years, dog. So it's like, why is it that all of a sudden they're doing it now? Like, I don't think they would just randomly, if what she was saying was so crazy or far off, I don't think they would really put her on there. I just feel that way. They would grab anybody else. I mean, you got DJ Vlad there, her, and like a lawyer. You could have put anybody else in that place, dog. You didn't have to put Jag on that place. You could have put a bodyguard who was there. But also to their point, and I've said this too, I'm like, yo, she really ain't never got no evidence, which makes her claims very crazy. Unless she's turning them over to the feds, which they're also not saying. So it's this whole Venger things there. They're playing with the strings right now. They're doing a great job, because they're confusing people that may be listening.
Like, if Jay-Z, and again, I would be surprised and devastated
just like people are with Puff.
100th degree. If any of this were true that she was saying about Jay-Z, I would be absolutely. It would be the most, like, I would have to question everything I've ever seen in my life at this point.
It would take that.
If any of this were true, from the person that I know, from the Jay that I know and that I grew up around, like, it would.
Okay,
it's just not.
He's involved with people that know
it's
Jay.
Not
I
in
think
this category.
okay.
But to me, that's like unfair. If there was legitimate accusations, then I think you should say what you're saying.
No, I
like to just spark the idea like,
No.
J2.
But I'm just saying, based on what I don't want people to say,
have we investigated Eminem yet?
No, but I'm just saying I don't want people to say, oh, they're sitting there, they're whole Avengers. I'm saying no. Let's be very clear. If any of this is true about him, I would be absolutely surprised, devastated. I don't even know what other word to use behind it, because just knowing him and knowing his character and who he is as a person, it just wouldn't make sense to me. It wouldn't match up.
And what's like unfortunate where Jaguar Wright goes wrong, she shoots her own credibility down so much. Like, because I did watch the whole
Some
Piers
things
thing.
just don't add up.
She made points that I agree with, that we've said on this pod. Yeah, I think there was probably some grooming from Clive Davis. There has been more than just rumors about Clive, Puff, and that entire era of music. I think that's something point. She should bring up with Piers Morgan. Not to say it's a fact or anyone's been charged specifically, but if you go through Puff's paperwork, Lucian's in there, Clive's in there, a lot of people that you could at least have the conversation comfortably.
But I'm like, ain't Jay's name in there though?
Like that.
You pretending or not?
It's when you just go and just throw random names in that it shoots down even the Clive part. It's like, where's your credibility at all?
No, Rory and Mal.
Great.
I guess I'm a little indifferent to this segment today, because like I do agree with their points and what they're getting at, but to my personal opinion on just how smear campaign can work, and once again, Mal's definitely tied to whoever Jay-Z may be tied to. I don't know whose cousin he may be, whose brother he is, or whatever, but he's definitely affiliated and associated on the whole side of things. So you're going to try to get on this as quick as possible, and with the fact that they have the platform that they have, they can nip it at the bud. I know a lot of people are like, yo, everybody just hates Jay-Z, blah, 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 blah. It ain't really about that, because it's like, how can you hate somebody that you really don't know? We just know these people for the entertainment purposes of things, like for their music, and like, yeah, they have their reports of like their business doings and stuff, but like to hate a man that nobody knows, that's a little bit of a stretch. And that's when I think like people are either just too much of fans of somebody or just invest too much and just have to realize you have to separate from what you know of the music from the man. And that's when you do that, you know what I'm saying? And like, you have to understand, you don't know what they're doing behind these scenes, dog. They have access to a lot of shit. They be around a lot of people. Now, granted, there's that whole, like, what did somebody say? Like, just because you see somebody in a picture with somebody, like, it's one of those you just don't really know people. But I'm like, yo, you've known Diddy for 30 plus years. You know what I'm saying? And to act like you don't know anything that he was doing, it goes back to, like, my questions where, like, I feel like you knew what R. Kelly was doing. Like, I'm going to always stand on that. So, I don't think Jigga or Hove or Jay-Z is really this innocent guy that we're trying to portray him to be. I just think that because there's nothing out there, we're just like, all right, well, if there's no proof, which I get, then we can't say anything. But like, it goes back to like, we got shit in our faces that like we can clearly point to, like Jay might be on that funny type of time of not the kid shit, but just the funny type of time with just business dealings and just who he may be involved with, and like what type of dark things that may be happening on the background. Like there's just all those things. And just like they said, they heard all these rumors about Puff, and just because Puff is in jail, they're like this. You've heard the same rumors about Jay too. Like, let's not act like you didn't hear these same rumors about Jay. You just need to wait for these dudes, I guess, to get arrested or anything. But these dudes are also known to change their fucking tunes and act like we don't see this stuff in front of us too, because they've been on record on saying Cole's career is over. J. Cole isn't good as good as he is anymore. But then just 2 days ago, they're out here screaming J. Cole had the best year rapping 2024. So like that just goes to show like what their credibility is as well too. They're very inconsistent and flip-flop just as much as anybody else out here. So let's not act like they don't do the same shit. So let me know what y'all think in the comments below, man. Do y'all think Hove could be implicated in things? Do y'all think Hove is involved in any sort of way? Do y'all think Mal is just being a Hove Avenger and Rory and Mal are being Hove Avengers right now? Like, what do y'all think's going on right now? Don't forget to like, comment, share. Don't forget to like, comment, share the video. I will be back with another one. I am out of here. Peace.